Welcome to Our Future is Kind, a podcast exploring how we build the future we want to live in, one kind act at a time. I'm your host, Michael G. Neece, president of Our Future is Kind, and your trusted companion as we search out kindness strategies we can use in our everyday lives. Together, as we chase the idea of building a kinder future, we will interview experts in kindness, team building, human motivation, corporate culture building, relationships, plus politicians, artists, and those with a vision for a healthy and kind future, one we all want to live in and deserve to enjoy together. In addition to interviews, we will consider positive depictions of humanity's future in art, literature, the movies, and media. And we will issue kindness challenges each week, give an update about Our Future is Kind, the company, and what it's doing to stay true to its mission. So, let's dive in. Today's guest is Nicole Yelsey, and she is the co-founder and the COO of KindWorks AI, a company that helps people and companies thrive through the intentional practice of kindness. I can't think of anybody better to be on our show today, so welcome, Nicole Yelsey.
Thank you. I'm thrilled to be here.
Yeah, so I introduced you as the co-founder and COO of KindWorks AI. What do you think makes you you?
I love that question. What makes me me? I've always said I'm a connector of people. I mentor people a lot. I really love, whether it's in work environments, whether it's in personal environments, I love people. And in general, I said I love helping people be happy. I'm a generally happy person. So that's one of the ways I generally describe myself. And how do I help people be happy? And we can get into this later, but when I started diving into the research on kindness, I was like, this is it. This is what I've been preaching, is practicing kindness. And for me, that's a lot of, connecting people with each other and building communities. And then I'm also a mom. So, when you become a mom of young kids, my identity has a lot of facets, and being a mom and now building that community and the connections for them is really important too.
Well, the love of people then becomes the love of children as well, and that is nuanced and varied.
It's nuanced and varied for sure. And what I always say though is we get a lot of, kindness. And, I know about my kids learning that in school and the social emotional, and that is so important. It's also, that is not where our focus is at KindWorks. And again, we can talk about that more later, but it's for everybody. And it is so important as human beings of any age, of any, no matter what you're doing in life, what your role is. So that's really why we've focused in different places.
Well, it's wonderful. So let's dig into KindWorks a little bit. It is a fascinating piece of technology that you have shown me in the past and that I was digging around and taking a quick look at. I love the fact that the mascot, if you will, is Beni. And
yes.
I have a really dear friend named Benium, and a lot of people call him Beni. So for me, it's just an automatic, I automatically love your product. But can you tell me just a little bit about what does KindWorks do?
Absolutely. So, you hit it a little bit. It's a platform to encourage and enable the intentional practice of kindness. So if you think about kindness, it's like a habit. And the more you do it, the more that it becomes, just in our second nature to practice kindness. And I think it's important to also talk a little bit about what we mean by kindness. So often it's thought of as it's just be nice to people, and it's not thought of as a strength or a competitive advantage even as a human being. But really it is having sincere conversations. It's recognizing the humanity in the other person. It is listening, it's connecting, it's recognition, it's giving, it's all of these things together. And ultimately that builds your own sense of satisfaction, your own happiness, and the trust within people. And so Beni, you mentioned Beni. Beni is an AI agent who brings kindness exercises to really keep it top of mind. They're things that people often want to be doing and they intend to do in their daily lives, but things get so busy. You're jumping from one to-do list to the next and you're not prioritizing it. So how do you keep kindness top of mind and just reaching out and saying hi to somebody, or giving feedback to someone, or, connecting with someone you don't know well and learning something new about them. All of these little things are, a huge benefit for the other person, but also for yourself. And that's what's going to create a culture where, I said I'm passionate about helping people be happy. And then when we're happier, life is better, work is better, we feel better, all of these things.
Well, certainly positive psychology backs you up on all of what you just said. If you bring your happiest, most joyful, most playful self to a lot of situations, things usually just go better. Can you talk a little bit more about how Beni helps people do that?
Absolutely. So there's kindness to others. So I said that there's thousands of exercises that Beni brings, and the exercises are organized by different ways to practice. So listening, giving, recognition, all these different ways to practice sincerity, and then also kindness to others and kindness to self. So you could, one day really be needing a kindness for yourself. That's really where, we see as kindness starts. If you don't practice kindness for yourself, it's really hard to do it for other people. So it might be small things like forgive yourself for a mistake that you made, or write down some things you're grateful for today, or, just take a moment and think about what you're going to do to be kind for yourself in the next 24 hours. Then there's the kindness for others. And, those are some of the exercises I was mentioning before of connecting and reaching out to somebody, taking a moment to really listen in your next conversation, maybe challenge yourself not to look at your devices, things like that, again, we often mean to do. And it's how do we really bring that into our mindset? And so Beni helps create that as a habit. I kind of think of Beni as a friend or a coach who is going to help you on this journey to be a kinder person. Ultimately, again, we're implementing this in the workplace. Practicing kindness is better for how you're going to feel. It's also going to help you in your career too, and be a better leader, be a better innovator, be a better collaborator. All of those pieces that when we feel better and we're working together better, our work is going to be better too.
So let's say that I'm a leader and I'm really skeptical. And I have my team and I'm just thinking I have to make all of these deliverables happen within a short amount of time. It sounds to me like this is fluff. It sounds to me like this is something we can just skip and people just need to get to work. What do you say to that leader?
That you're actually losing when you're not building that foundation culture. So we have data now that shows absenteeism decreases, sales increase when people are practicing kindness, retention, people stay. Ultimately, it's all these unseen costs for the business where when you get into just this daily, like I got to get the task done, I'm in the rat race, actually that is ultimately losing a lot of unseen costs when people are not motivated. They're not even presenteeism. People are there, they're working, but they're not working at their full potential. You're actually losing millions of dollars as a business. And what we see is we now have strong correlated data to show, not only do people feel better and they're going to work harder, they're going to be more productive, sales increase, they're going to stay longer, all of these bottom line impacts for the business.
And heaven forbid, they'll also just enjoy working. They'll enjoy their lives more, right?
Exactly. And from a time perspective too, we've built Beni really intentionally to not be another to-do. It is a benefit for the the employee that also benefits the workplace. So Beni connects through places people already are talking to each other. It's not a different place you have to go. Beni will send exercises in Slack or in Microsoft Teams or in WhatsApp in South America. And those are places people already are on and talking to each other. So then Beni can say, hey, reach out to this person and connect you with someone right there. And again, they're things that people want to be doing. They're just not necessarily prioritizing. I think of everything in a daily activities of like what's urgent and what's important. So if you've got that matrix, often people aren't thinking about putting kindness in the urgent, and sometimes they're not even thinking about putting it in the important category. And what our goal is to move that to urgent and important and realize that it's not actually going to take more time. It's going to actually help you save time in the long run. And they're very small things. That's one of the things we hear from people a lot is before they try Beni, they're like, oh, it might be another thing to do. And they're like, oh, it was so simple and it didn't take extra time and I felt better. And that's when the cycle starts.
So can you talk to me a little bit about how you need leadership buy-in for this to work? Because I'm imagining myself going through my workday, I'm creating programs that do, some really neat outputs or something like that. And then suddenly, poof, I have this little message that comes up and says, hey, take just 5 minutes to do this thing. It'll be great. It'll lift you up. But I'm hesitant. I'm a little worried about doing that because now I'm a little off track from what I was doing. How can leaders help people on those front lines really invest in this and then see those benefits?
Absolutely. Well, I think the leadership buy-in is really, really critical. It's like anything else, our leaders have to example set, and culture comes from every individual. It also, the tone has to be set at the top. And I say that probably not. It's not a unique experience. I know that have workplaces where the values are on the wall, but they're not necessarily lived in the daily actions and the activities of the leadership or the people in the organization. And so, really starting to demonstrate that is really, really important. We can't just be, this is a new kindness app and this is going to solve our problems. It's something that we are prioritizing culture and connectivity and building trust in those pieces. And this is a tool that's going to benefit you as an individual and aligns with our goals for the company. So that's really important that it is truly integrated into the priorities and the values of the company. And then kind of what I was saying before in terms of, it's something that might distract you. Well, for one piece is that you can always come back to Beni later. There's remind me laters, and like anything else, Beni will always be there. You don't have to do it right now. But they're really, really simple things. And that, again, is something that we hear over and over from people is that, I thought it was going to take longer, and really it was, an exercise as simple as, not looking at my phone at my next meeting, or, really make an effort to smile at people and encourage someone to speak who doesn't speak very much. Like things that are really, things that we should be doing at the workplace and we want to be doing. It's just keeping that top of mind.
I can just imagine, because I have several family members who are neurodiverse, that this could also be really helpful for them because sometimes those social cues can be really hard. And the idea of smiling at other people and remembering to include others, when you get into a train of thought, especially if you're sort of neurospicy, it can be a hard thing, right? So
absolutely. And also just getting that, how I like to think about defining kindness, part of it is having positive intention for the other person and also assuming positive intention from that other person. So, I think for neurodiversity, there's a wide spectrum and everyone is going to behave a little bit differently and come at a problem and come at individuals from different perspectives. And starting from a perspective from yourself of, I believe that person has positive intention for me, even though they might not have been reacting or treating the way that I thought. If you start from a place of curiosity and assuming positive intention, almost always you're going to find that it was just a misunderstanding. And this is especially, with emails is a really good example, or with written messages where you get an email and you take it the wrong way. And it's so easy to then get defensive and build in a negative way. Whereas, 9 times out of 10 or maybe more, if you call that person and address and just say, I don't know if I understood this the right way, you're actually going to find that it was a misunderstanding.
Right. Yeah. I coach an awful lot of people, a lot of leaders, especially on, what's the appropriate communication tool for each situation, and certainly continuing an email thread into the 8th or 9th response. Usually not a great idea. Usually not a great,
exactly. Especially when tension is building. Yes.
Right. Right. Okay, well, wonderful. So if anybody who's, furiously taking down notes right now and trying to learn a little bit more about this, where can they go to just, find out, maybe get a demo or see a video about it or learn more?
Absolutely. So our website is KindWorks.ai. You can book a demo right through there, or kindworks.ai/demo is also a way to book a demo. And then very soon also we're going to be available in the marketplace in Microsoft Teams. So right now we are available when an enterprise purchases us and purchases license and brings it to their team. And very soon anyone will be able to add Beni in on Microsoft Teams to do a trial on their own.
That sounds really fun.
But highly recommend booking a demo. Likely it'll be me who's helping do a demo. So,
okay. Well, you're certainly passionate about it. So yeah, no, that sounds great.
Yeah.
So speaking about you, You are obviously somebody who really cares about, helping to shape the world in ways that it's kinder and that people have more enjoyment of their lives and that, workplaces that they have better outcomes, they have more profit and those sorts of things. So clearly you are bringing that to the table every time. And since this is our Future is Kind podcast, and we're always trying to get hints and tips and tricks on how do we build that kinder future. So I want you to do a little thought experiment with me, Nicole, if that's all right.
Of course.
So we are going to think about it. Right now it's 2025. We want to think that it's 2125. So now think of your grandkids, who I'm assuming are yet to be born, that they will be old people in this scenario. You and I will be gone. So you get into your time machine, you go to 2125, and you look around. What are the indicators that we've done it? That KindWorks did its thing, and that so many people who are doing coaching and speeches and whatnot about kindness, people who are, trying to pass the right legislation. What are you looking for to confirm, hey, we did it. We made a kinder future?
Oh my gosh, I love this question. I was trying to think of it. So I think technology will also be completely different. So I'm going to not touch on that piece of it. Sure. I'm going to kind of assume technology is what it is today in the answer. But I think a big piece, I talk a lot about curiosity and critical thinking. And it goes to a little bit what I was saying before of like the assuming positive intent from the other person. So approaching everything from a realm of, I want to learn more, and really using those best practices of, I want to get to know you. I'm considering you my neighbor, no matter where you are in the world. I'm assuming that you have positive intention for the world, for your fellow neighbors, for me. And so I'm going to approach it with curiosity. And I say this because I think we all see a lot of the other way of how people speak in like online and any social media and any social forum. We also now see that somewhat in the real world, unfortunately, I think that it is ballooned in the written world where people don't have to see each other face to face. And so I think if we can solve that, it will also come out into the real world, and obviously in both directions. But I guess that active listening, curiosity, critical thinking, and seeing that reflect in the way that we interact with each other and the way that we treat each other, that is how I see success in this.
So looking for those behaviors in whoever you're observing as a time traveler, that's what you're looking for.
That is a big piece that I would be looking for, yes.
Yeah, no, that totally makes sense to me, because you want a world in which people aren't just knee-jerk reaction of, hey, you're in the other camp and you're against me. You want to be having that knee-jerk reaction of, man, you look great today, and I love your energy, and let's meet and have coffee and be friends, yeah. Right?
I want to learn more about you. Like, you have a different life experience than I do, and your opinion is different than mine. I want to understand more about your opinion. And, it's unfortunately the way society does it, we pendulum swing so much. And I'm very big into it's and not or. And, quite often, that perspectives come out and it's this way or bust. And in reality, like, if we can look at things with a curious mindset, things are gray, and gray is hard. But if we can approach things understanding that things are gray, ultimately we will be kinder to each other.
Love that. Yeah. So the second part of the question we've already kind of answered, but I want to hear a little bit more detail. To get to 2125 and have it be like that, what are the actions that we need to be taking this year, in 10 years, in 50 years? What are those brave acts of kindness that we need to take up to make sure that we get there?
I think it's the little things and the big things. So I believe that every single individual has ownership. I got kids. I say it to my kids all the time when something happens. It's like, and they're like, oh, well, so-and-so did this. I'm like, So what do you control? What you control is your own actions, your own reactions, how you treat people. That's what you control. We can influence others, but like, your actions and reactions are what you control. So I think that's part of it, is each individual, like getting that buy-in that this is actually the most powerful tool that we have to work better, feel better, live better, like build stronger societies, not just build, happy, kind, hearts and roses societies, but strong societies. I think that's the piece, is again, that and like can be happy and be strong. And I think that, and so getting people understanding that, and part of that is to do it through these small habits. When you start to do it, you realize, oh, this works. Like I feel better. And this is what kindness is. It's not just rolling over. It's having hard conversations, but doing it in a way that has humanity at the core of it. And then I think, leadership at every level is just really, really important, that our leaders set the example. And that's, across the board, whether it's, our CEOs, our, religious leaders, our elected officials, like really our leaders setting example is also really important. Because like I said, it's like, if it's just within the chasm of a business, which is what we're working with right now more so, it's important that everybody is on board. It's also extra important that there's example setting by leadership that just, on a wider scale for the world, that's true too.
So building up these habits so that it is the go-to to be kind. That sounds like that is a key piece of what we need to be focusing on in these next 100 years to get it right. So exactly. It's neat how it just dovetails right back into your philosophy of building that robust kindness practice. I love that.
Exactly. Well, and that's why I joined KindWorks, because, I thought that maybe eventually I would do something where I was advising and working with leaders and I get to do that. And also the way to do it at scale is through technology. And, how do we there's all these use cases for AI that some are helping people and it's wonderful, and others aren't necessarily helping people. And, it's lots of questions. That could be a whole separate conversation. And also, like, how do you take this exponential power of kindness and the exponential power of technology and bring them together in a true, authentic way?
Love it. Love it. So the day-to-day, you're parenting, you're working within your company and helping companies make these better habits. What are the things that you do when you're not feeling great, when you're feeling like, man, there's a lot going on in the world right now, and I don't really have that much, I don't have that much power or whatever it is. Yep. How do you stay inspired? Because one of the things we do here in the show is we try to give ideas of how to stay inspired, how to stay kind. So what would you tell people who are listening in right now? Try these 3 things or read these 3 books. I mean, what's your advice to us?
Control the controllables. I was talking a little bit about that before. I think that's a big kind of perspective. I think part of kindness is taking the right perspective on any situation. And that part of that is being kind to yourself as well. And understanding that some things are out of your control, but what can you control in the moment? And it's also why self-kindness and kindness to others is so important. And, I definitely feel a huge oxytocin boost when I am practicing kindness with others and when I'm connecting. And that's, not the only reason I do it. Although now, like looking back at all the data, I'm like, oh, that is the aha moment of me over my years, as I get that oxytocin boost. So I love it. But it's also understanding when to practice kindness for yourself and when you need a moment, and then what that means for you. And I mean, like for me, again, I have kids, and they're almost 6 and 8 now. So they're past maybe the most cuddly years, and also they're still very cuddly. And so for me, one of the things is just cuddling with my kids. And I think about it sometimes of like, there's all these things of like, get out of bed and do your morning routine and, have all these pieces, especially for an entrepreneur. There's a lot of pressure to do that. And while I do that on some days, on other days, if a kid crawls in my bed and, it's a tough week, I'm like, I'm going to lay here for a little bit extra and take that time. And that is kind of, I literally weigh this in my head. But it is like, that is the kindness to myself, and finding those moments. And for me, it's also working out. And, I remember saying at one time when I was stressed at school to someone that instead of going out, I was going to go run on the treadmill because I was stressed. And they're like, I don't understand. And I was like, for me, that's what I need to do. So I need to get the stress out there.
Right. So being true to yourself, but also just taking advantage of those moments.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's wonderful. So,
and being in the moment, life is short. And so it's the other piece is that perspective of being in the moment.
Right. Well, and, kids, their purpose in life is to be a kid. They're, they need to have fun, and they need to explore and be curious, and our, responsibility as parents is to hear them and validate them and enjoy them, spend time with them. So.
And learn from them too. I think there's a lot we can learn from kids, and that is another piece. And that, we think often like kindness is for kids, or that's what people be like, oh, like I know a program on kindness and it's for kids. And that is wonderful and so important. And also, like, we can learn from that as adults.
Right. Yeah, there are all these great videos of kids who just look right past each other's differences and just want to hug each other and just enjoy each other. So, yeah, we can learn a lot. Yeah. Exactly. So, Nicole, what are the things that you're working on right now? What's your next big project? If people look you up online, what would they be seeing?
Well, one of the pieces is, I say all the time that kindness, and that's obviously what you speak on and what we work a lot on, it's our greatest strength as an organization. The word kindness, specifically the word, it's also an Achilles heel because people have these preconceived notions about what is kindness. And so, a big goal for myself and for the organization is, I don't want to say rebranding kindness, but like rethinking what people think of when they think of kindness, and how do they think of it as a strength and not just as a nice to have, and that's for kids. And the conversation has changed in the past 4 years since we started KindWorks, and I do believe it's seen more and more as a strength. We think of it as a power skill, and it is actually what underlies all of the other skills that we want to build, whether it's the soft skills of collaboration or just connecting with people, or it's the hard skills that we want to build, because when we are practicing kindness, we actually are more motivated to learn new things and to grow and to increase our hard skills too. And so really helping people understand why kindness is so important, both for yourself as a human being, and also for yourself to deliver and at work, and to work better as well.
Yeah. It is it's the Swiss Army knife of tools, really.
Exactly. So I guess with that, so that's a big goal. And so, we've got also a podcast on kindness, which love to have you on as well. I'm doing some more speaking engagements. Really, whenever we launch with a new client, we always do a launch presentation. It's important that everyone understands why kindness is important and why the organization is bringing it to their team, and then what is KindWorks, obviously. And so really, and then collaborating with other people who are having the conversation as well. That's really important for us too. For all building this conversation together, that is a much stronger way to do it together.
And so when people get very excited about all these things that you're doing, how can they look you up? Where can they find you?
So, I mentioned our website. You can always look there. The podcast is kindworks.ai/podcast. Would love to have you follow there. We have a white paper, which is at kindworks.ai/power skills era. It's also just found at the bottom of our website. And then definitely connect with me on LinkedIn. I love having conversations on this, and, anything that people have, I would love to bring it to your organization. That's, the more that people that we can reach, the stronger that it will be. Our goal is to bring this to 1 million people, and, we're just getting started.
Well, Nicole, I am excited about all of the things that you are doing. I hope that we have a chance to partner in a lot of ways going forward, because I do firmly believe that we are building the future and that we can build a kinder one. So I'm glad to be on this same journey with you. Thanks for coming on the show.
And very much you as well, Michael. I love the idea of looking ahead to 100 years too. I guess I've thought about it, but I haven't really articulated it. So I really like that question.
Oh, wonderful. Yeah. Well, at some point, we're going to compile a lot of these answers, and it's going to be part of the next book that I'm writing right now. So I'm excited to include yours.
I look forward to it.
Awesome. All right. Well, thanks again.
Thank you, Michael. It's been a pleasure.
This episode's Kindness Challenge. Forgive yourself for one mistake this week. Seriously, out loud. By remembering to extend kindness to yourself, especially when you are feeling most vulnerable because things didn't go right, you are reminding yourself that nobody is perfect and that you are worthy of kindness just like everyone else. Want to stay inspired so you can stay kind? Just like we did with the Kindness Challenge, stay inspired by starting your day off with self-kindness. Nicole recommends a walk, a cuddle with your kids, or skipping the grind altogether and sleeping in when you need it. Thanks again for listening to our Future is Kind podcast, a podcast in search of a kinder future. Go out there and do something kind.